last speaker, I suppose. Yes, Dr. Santhekadur. I don't know whether I'm speaking correctly or not. He is associate professor and current affiliation is Center of Excellence in Molecular Biology and Regenerative Medicine, JSS Medical College, Karnataka. His area of interest is molecular basis of development and pathogenesis of obesity-induced fatty liver disease and hepatocellular carcinoma. And he has got a vast postdoctoral experience in various places in the US, Virginia Commonwealth University, etc. And we are very eager to hear you, sir. I will request you to please go ahead with your lecture.
Good evening, all. First of all, I thank organizer, including Department of Physiology, University of Delhi, and also the Society of Nutraceuticals and Chronic Diseases. And today I am going to talk about the role of quercetin and how quercetin mimics vitamin D and ameliorates breast cancer, induced hepatic inflammation and fibrosis. And I used to work with one animal model called early cassette carcinoma, and this is a mouse breast cancer cell line. It was developed by Dr. Paul Ehrlich. We all know that Dr. Paul Ehrlich is a Nobel laureate. He developed this cell line in 1907. And I used to work with the cell line during my PhD days, and I used to work with ashwagandha and vitafilin during my PhD days. And I also published a paper. We treated vitafilin to these EAC cells, and we found that the vitafilin inhibits the sp1 transcription factor and inhibits the proliferation of this EAC cell line. And recently we published one paper where we showed that these early acidic carcinoma cells, they cause liver inflammation and fibrosis, and we published recently in Advanced Cancer Biology and Metastasis. And in continuation of this work, and this is regarding our research, and it is published in leading newspapers, including Hindu, Indian Express, and Star of Mysore, and all those papers. And what is the current objective of the study? Like our objective of the present study is to study the effect of like how breast cancer causes liver inflammation and fibrosis. And we all know that breast cancer is the most common cancer worldwide, and from morning we are hearing a lot about breast cancer. And breast cancer is a lifestyle and diet associated disease, and also like except in few cases, it is a completely lifestyle associated disease. And from our own study, we know that breast cancer causes liver inflammation and fibrosis. Therefore, exploring the dietary natural compounds and nutraceuticals with anti-breast cancer effects and hepatoprotective effect is our prime objective. And we know that many of the people know the way about this quercetin. Quercetin is a plant pigment and flavonoid, and it is also acts as an antioxidant molecule. It is found in many fruits and vegetables, including apples, onion, mangoes, cherry, raspberry, and cranberries, and even in junk food. And it has various health beneficial effects, and it is a potent antioxidant. However, the effect of quercetin on breast cancer-induced liver inflammation and fibrosis is not known. Here we try to explore the role of quercetin on breast cancer-induced inflammation, liver inflammation and fibrosis, and we also investigated the molecular mechanism behind this effect. And we used this EAC cells, and the EAC cells, they produce mouse memory carcinoma, and they secrete a lot of ascites. These ascites contain a lot of angiogenic molecules and also a lot of inflammatory cytokines. And when we inject these EAC cells to mice, and they form a big tumor in the abdominal region, and mice will die in like 16 to 17 days or 18 days, they will die due to EAC cells overgrowth. And during this stage, we also observed that enlargement of liver size and also inflammation of liver size. And to check the activity of quercetin, we treated quercetin to this EAC mice, and we observed after the treatment of quercetin, we checked the body weight, liver weight, and also tumor volume, and also we measured the cell viability and other biochemical parameters, and we also did immunohistochemistry to check what is the effect of quercetin on breast cancer-induced liver inflammation and fibrosis. And we also used cell proliferation assay and CAM assay. Many of you may know about CAM assay, the chick chorionic membrane assay. And after the when we grow EAC cells in mice, you can see that middle picture where mice looks like somewhat obese, but this is not obese. This is due to cancer burden. And after the treatment of quercetin, this mice looks like this. This shows quercetin inhibits the burden of this breast cancer, this mouse breast cancer cell growth, and details the survival of these mice. And we measured the body weight, and we found that when we treated with quercetin, there is a reduced body weight, and also we measured the tumor volume, and also the volume also gone down. And if you see this liver picture, you can see here liver enlargement. These EAC cells induces liver enlargement. After the treatment of quercetin, we saw somewhat reduced liver weight. This shows this quercetin inhibits the inflammation of this liver enlargement and inflammation. And also we measured the liver weight. You can see gradual decrease in liver weight after treatment of quercetin. And we also measured cell viability. After the treatment of quercetin, we also saw less number of cells. And we also measured some of the major liver enzymes. These enzymes usually we use for liver function test, AST, ALT, and ALT. After the treatment of quercetin, all these enzymes secretion goes down. And also you can see the inhibition of, when we induce EAC cells to mice peritoneal region looks like this, and this shows lot of angiogenic blood vessels. After the treatment of quercetin, we saw reduced blood vessel. This shows anti-angiogenic property of this quercetin. We also checked, we did a HLD staining. We checked less microvessel density after the when we took this peritoneum of these mice. And we also measured the effect of this quercetin on early chastity-induced liver inflammation. There is a decreased inflammation and also decreased fibrosis. We also measured inflammatory markers like TNF alpha, IL1 beta, and also IL6 after the treatment of quercetin. Even these markers also gone down, and also we measured TGF-beta pathway genes, including TGF-beta secretion after the treatment of quercetin. And we found that TGF-beta level was also gone down, and along with TGF-beta, we saw collagen 1 and collagen 3 alpha SNA level also gone down in these mice. And interestingly, recently I saw these two papers where we found that tumor autonomous effects of vitamin D deficiency promote breast cancer metastasis, and also the role of vitamin D in reducing cancer risk and progression. Vitamin D plays a very important role. Usually, night shift workers, women, especially women, they get more breast cancer. And also due to change in lifestyle, a lot of people nowadays, a lot of young women are getting breast cancer. And vitamin D plays a very important role in prevention of breast cancer according to these two papers. And also many other papers also showed that vitamin D prevents breast cancer. We got some interest on vitamin D, and we thought of looking for vitamin D receptor and what is the effect of quercetin on vitamin D receptor based on this background. And we have some collaborators in our JSCHR. They did the docking studies for us, and they checked the quercetin binding to vitamin D receptor, and they told that quercetin very strongly binds to vitamin D receptor. Therefore, we thought that quercetin may activate this vitamin D receptor and may target vitamin D genes as vitamin D. And we treated quercetin and vitamin D to two of the known breast cancer cell lines. both similarly inhibits the proliferation of these two breast cancer like MBA, MB231 and PP474. And simultaneously we treated together like vitamin D and quercetin, and they act similarly. Like based on this data, we found that like quercetin may strongly activates vitamin D receptor. And we treated quercetin to chick choriolan type membrane, and we found that quercetin inhibits angiogenesis in chick cancer. And also we found that vitamin D also like similarly inhibits as quercetin. They both acts in a similar fashion. And we also did CD31 staining to peritoneum of these PAC mice after treatment of quercetin. We found that CD31 expression gone down after the treatment of quercetin. This shows that quercetin strongly activates vitamin D. And based on this preliminary finding, we propose this hypothesis that quercetin binds to OVDR and it activates vitamin D response element and induces vitamin D related gene and inhibits the proliferation, inflammation, and fibrosis, and also angiogenesis. And one of my students, like Ms. Nirmala, she is working on the role of quercetin on obesity, non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, and cardiac fibrosis. Tomorrow she is going to present that data in our oral presentation. We have, like obesity is directly associated with breast cancer. We also have the data like where quercetin inhibits obesity and also cardiac fibrosis and also non-alcoholic fatty liver diseases. And she is going to present that data tomorrow. I thank my collaborator, Dr. Shashank Prasad, and also like two of my students they are here, and Ms. Nirmala and Ms. Varsha. And Ms. Varsha, she presented her oral presentation yesterday about vitamin A and non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. And Nirmala, she will present tomorrow about quercetin and metabolic syndrome. Thank you all once again.
Very nice. Nice work. Very nice.
Question?
Does this molecule affect the hormonal level of ghrelin or leptin? Does this molecule affect the hormonal, modulate the hormonal level of ghrelin or leptin? Because if ghrelin is more, then obesity will increase.
We didn't check ghrelin or leptin, but adiponectin. When we treat quercetin, adiponectin level goes high. We know that adiponectin acts as an anti-obesity and anti-non-alcoholic fatty liver disease molecule. It also inhibits cardiac inflammation. She has data about adiponectin and quercetin. We have more data on adiponectin and quercetin. And also vitaferinate, like structurally it resembles steroidal lactose.
Right.
Steroid hormones.
Yes.
Usually steroid hormones binds to various nuclear receptors.
Yes.
Based on that idea, we also did a docking study with LSR alpha and one more FXR and all those things. We found that vitaferinate binds to these receptors and activates these receptors because it acts as like steroidal hormone type.
Did you narrow down any particular targets for vitafrinate binding to the receptors?
Yes, LSR alpha. Like we published that paper in Frontiers in Oncology last year, but still we have that data related to non-alcoholic fatty liver disease.
Very nice.
The EAT cells you injected as a autologous model or?
We inject into peritoneum cavity, and also they also form solid tumor, but very commonly we use
if you could have injected in
that is what it is almost near to memory region. It will form like a big tumor in abdominal region. This is liquid tumor, and we can also inject as a solid tumor along with the matrix. And many people they are doing even as a solid tumor model.
Thank you.
Do you have any questions? Okay, thank you once again.
Now I request Dr. Sunil Kaul to please. Finally, I request Dr. Yoshihiro Omiya to facilitate Professor R.K. Seth for holding the chair for this session.
Yes.